about to go down.
JD Domino with the backspin with Sean Russell, and Sean's like jumping right in today, and it's great. We are going to have the backstory of the DJs. Ron's been around, I've been around, and we're just going to find out about what's going on with today's music, what happened back in the day, why did we get into this field? And let's start that out. Sean, how long have you been DJing, and why? Why?
Well, why? Let's see. I mean, I always like a crazy love music. I mean, when I was young, I want to say I bought my first set of 1200s when I was like 13 years old at Rock Records, you know, because I was always going on at Rock Dreams, and I was like, hey, what do you got hot dance music wise? I'm not really into dance music, you know, and then of course I always made my ways down into Trenton to go to Ace Record Shop, sound the sounds of Trenton. So I mean, that's kind of where I started, but I really started off listening to like hip hop, you know, like the Sugar Hill Gang, and Curtis Blow, and you know, Fan 5. I mean, that's where the hip hop era really started for me. And then as time went, you know, I started to watch a lot of the DJs when I was younger, and I was like, wow, man, this is really cool. These guys just music, they're like making music, you know. And I just learned from them guys. I mean, there's a lot of great DJs in this area that people forget about, you know.
I had my cousin, I had extra tickets for remember the Budweiser Super Fresh when they used to have it? You were probably a little baby back then. Well, I first saw LL Cool J, but Fat Boys,
I was there.
Run DMC, Grandmaster, all the legends were there. Yep. And my cousin goes, my cousin's like, they just put a record on and they rap on it. After the concert, he goes, them DJs are like the drummers. They're making the music back there. And he took a different light, because remember back in the day, it was always mocks. Everybody thought, they just put a record on and they rap over top of it. But you never realized they were the ones creating. And now look at them. A lot of them were your top producers.
Well, I mean, you can really go back. I mean, we could start at a local level. Like the local around here, you know, there were some unbelievable DJs back in the day. I mean, there's guys in this area who actually have won the Board Best DJ award in the country. Right. You know, there was a guy back in the day, Phil Mancine. You know, he was the Billboard DJ of the Year. You know, and it was funny. I kind of, as I started getting a little bit older, I mean, I was kind of like getting to know these guys. Like, you know, there was Jerome Martucci, there was, you know, Greg Blair, there was Tony Nini, you know, there was Frankie D, there was Frankie Olivetti, you know, and these guys, you know, and I gotta mention guy because he was really a force back in the day. Joe Macaroni. Joe Macaroni, like when I was a young kid, I used to go to like dances, and it was him, you know. And I was like watching this guy. I'm like, and this is like unbelievable, man. He's taking two sounds and he's putting it together, and you know, I kind of think where I started really enjoying, you know, the whole DJ aspect of it.
I was playing with them guys, and they never gave me the respect because of the bar I was in. I was at the Buffstone, and the Buffstone was your rock joint.
Well,
and it never got the credibility as the Granada Brothers and all the other dance places, even down when they used to play at the Coastline and different places in Philly.
Yeah.
And I remember Bibbs, the manager, I want to hook you up. I want to get you in over here at the Granada. And half of the guys that you just mentioned, except for Frankie, the mailman, Frankie D was the best. He pulled me on the side. He goes, hey, Domino, you'll never make it here. I says, why? He goes, the boys don't want you here. They don't have no credibility for you because you work at the Buffstone, and they rather do rock and fall on their face because they wanted to try to do a Sunday night rock night. The funny thing is,
Yeah.
I was a disco boy at heart. I didn't know rock. I didn't know nothing when I got to the
Yeah.
Buff Stone. I didn't even like Led Zeppelin.
Right.
I didn't like the Beatles. All the top bands I wasn't into. I was more that Saturday Night Fever type guy. And like you mentioned with Ace.
Yeah.
Ace used to be the place to go. And did you ever get escorted to the car on a weekend?
Yeah. I mean, it was funny. It was funny. I had such a relationship with Scoop. It was funny. I mean, I'm a young, just imagine like I'm this young kid, you know, and I'm thinking to myself like, okay, I'm in a really not so neighborhood. And he's like, okay, but you know what's funny? After a while, all the guys in there knew me, and it was funny because, I mean, Scoop knew like I was always into, I always prided myself like trying to be one step ahead of everybody. Right. And it was kind of weird because I used to come in and Scoop would be like, hey, Sean, I got some stuff for you in the back. You want to look at it? Or I put it out. Like he used to let me look at the promos and stuff before he even put them out. You know, and you know, but he knew, like Scoop knew like my love for music. And that's kind of how I got to know him so well.
And the funny thing is, if you went over there on the weekends, because it was in a bad section, today I won't even go by there. But he used to always have a couple of the guys, the kids, hey, do me a favor, walk into his car. Because if they see a white guy walking in that neighborhood, it's either a drug deal or you're going to Aces. Because why else would you be at the monument? But I don't know if you remember Bill Singer. He had the broadcasting school down. And same thing with Bill. I grew up with Bill. That's where I went. I met a lot of guys through Bill that used to DJ for me. And Bill would be the same way. He'd walk you in, walk you to your car, nobody would bother you. But they were the areas back then, you know, you didn't want to be around.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted, but you know what's funny? Them guys just knew about music. You know?
Oh, yeah. But that's how, like, even with Ace, with the music, he knew I played rock, but he also knew I knew dance music. And I was always looking for something new that could cross. And he would do the same thing every week. Hey, I got something for you. Check it out. Rock Dreams used to go over there all the time, and even Princeton Record Exchange, and then the Record Collector. I don't know if you remember the Record Collector, the old Howard Stern wannabe. Well, he looked like him.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. He would know exactly what you want. He'd go, let me go to the basement. He'd come down, bring up all the 45s and say, here you go. You can't do it today.
It was so funny. He used to be so funny because I remember going in there and he'd be like, and he had no desire for dance music, the Record Collector. And it was fun. He used to, I used to make my rounds, like this is when we used to record shop. I used to like make my rounds and go there and he'd be like, hey, Sean, I got this crate set aside. This guy came in with all this junk. He used to say to me, all this junk. And I remember pulling stuff out of there, like Disco Nights by GQ and stuff like this. And he'd be like, are you sure you want that? And I was like, yeah, I want it. You know?
You're hitting the lottery and he's thinking he's throwing garbage at you.
Yeah. And he probably learned a few things from me over the years, because I remember going in there one time and looking at some prices on some disco records that he did have.
He had a lot of good imports back then. That's what I used to get off of him. Because I, like with the rock, I would always look for different alternatives. Like, yes, they came out with a lot of dance 12 inches. ZZ Top had some different groups. And that's where even Bon Jovi, because back then, oh God, I got tired of playing Bon Jovi. But that was the way, you know, the women would come in all the time and ask you, you got Bon Jovi? No. You know, and it's like, how many times did you hear the song in the car on the way here? Now you got to hear it another time.
You remember that word that I used? Ego. Don't think you're better. Don't think you're above the music. That's all I got to say. How's that?
dance floor is now open.